Hey guys, my name is Noah Brandell. I'm a student at Southwestern College, and today I'm going to be interviewing Earl Baylon. Today I will be interviewing Andres Paul Ramacho. Did I say
That is me.
that?
Um, yeah.
Um,
Rock on.
yes, thank you. To start a little bit, do you want to introduce yourself? Talk a little about yourself?
Sure. I'm not good at this. My name is Earl Baylon. Baylon is what I tell you know, how I Americanize my name. Um, I am an actor, improviser. I've been working in the industry for about 15, 16 years now. Throughout multiple genres. So started off on stage doing improv and sketch comedy. Um, moved into on camera doing commercials, TV, and then into voice work, which is primarily what I do now. Although I'm getting back into on camera, so that's always nice. But that's it.
Yeah, my name is Andres Paul Ramacho. I am a voice actor, an actor, a poet, an artist, producer, published writer, um, artist with a capital A. I, I've been very blessed to be able to do this, that have art as my career. And I think it's a fun question to ask someone who's in the world of academia, where they say, "Hey, give me a gist of who you are. Go, you've got 10 seconds. Go, you've got 15. Go, you got a minute to go tell yourself about who you are," because we're so used to hit me with a resume and there you are. But I've said this many times, the job of the artist, Earl, myself, a lot of the working artists that are included, who we are the people that hold space for your dreams. We create those dreams so that you can witness them. And so we make your dreams come true. That's my job as the artist. Um, I am able to reflect humanity. I'm able to use myself as a vessel, tell those stories. And I embody a lot of the human experience so that we can all hold space to witness that experience and um, be able to have the emotions in a safe space as we do this art and as we witness this art. So that's who I am, that's what I do, and that's what I dream about. And that's thankfully my career.
Wonderful. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Um, no problem. So for our first question, some actors start in acting and theater or just jump straight into being in front of a camera or in a booth. I wanted to ask you how you got your start.
Basically, where I got my start, I mean, is like, like not I'm not gonna say every, but like a lot of Filipino kids, I was pushed into, learning things like how to play guitar and how to sing and performing in like student plays and in your grade school. So that's how I started. Started taking like guitar lessons when I was 9. That moved into piano. This was the era when like Boys to Men was a thing, so everybody wanted to
Yeah.
have like a Boys to Men like a cappella group. So like I did that. Um, it was, but of course, it was never serious because, you know, I was supposed to become a doctor, like a lot of kids. So,
Yeah.
um, being an actor or a performer of any kind was kind of like in the back. It was backseat. Didn't even think of it as a possible career choice until I got to college. So when I discovered theater again, and I was like, I really, really want to do this and not, go to medical school. So. That's how that happened. Um, and unfortunately, I spent a couple of years after college trying to figure out like what I wanted to do because I didn't think that performing was, a viable way to support myself. Whether it's viable is still kind of a matter of debate, but um, that's how I got into performing outside after school is like doing improv with a group called Room to Improv. I started with them. That moved into doing sketch comedy with a group called sketchcomedyshow.com, and that's how I started my on-camera career. I met people there at the Sketchcast who were already like a little further into the career in terms of like the entertainment industry. They guided me along the way, said, "This is what you got to do. This is what you got to do." So I did all that stuff, got headshots, signed up for the casting sites, and yeah, I've just been grinding that way ever since.
I was in high school. I went to Loyola High School, it's an all boys high school in Los Angeles. Um, a buddy of mine saw a bunch of pretty girls walking over to one building, and we were like, "What's that? Like, what's that building over there?" So we go over, and a bet was made with my buddy Carlos Dominguez, and he said, "We audition, so let's do this thing. If you get in, that's $100 in the pot. If you get it, you take the 100. If we both, we split the pot." We both auditioned, and at the time, I thought we didn't get it. And the director met in a couple days later, had saw me in passing, and was like, "Hey, you weren't there for callbacks." And I went, "I don't know what callbacks are. I'm gonna go play now and play some baseball. Like I'm gravy." He goes, "No, no, no. Callbacks are when we want to see you. You audition again. We put you in the roles." I had no idea what that was. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that I was supposed to look for one of those." So I auditioned for the next one, and I get it. And I have a blast with all these people who were telling stories that I didn't realize you could be doing this in high school and having a good time. And then I had a summer job at the Hollywood Bowl. I was an usher, and the guy who was the voice of the Hollywood Bowl for like 40 years had laryngitis. And in my job interview at the for that summer job, I had said I had done theater in high school for fun. And the manager one day told me, "Hey, you need to come over. The manager needs to see you. We need to talk to you." And I was like, "I wasn't late that day. I mean, like I showed up on time. I don't know. I'm not in trouble. Like, what am I doing?" So I walk over and they said, "Hey, you said you did theater in your interview. They want to talk to you." I was like, "All right." So I walk over to the Hollywood Bowl. I go down to the offices that's underneath it. Um, and there were people who were going into this one room and then leaving, going into a room and leaving. And so I go in, and big desk, guy gives me a piece of paper, and he says, "Read this." And so I read it, and he goes, "Are you kidding me? You got to give me a voice." And I think I was like 17, 18 at the time. I was like, "Oh, this is, you want me to do like an announcer voice?" So I did the very best I could, and I did the whole like reading of it. And right on the spot, he goes, "Great, you're going up and you're going to sound check." I remember completely trembling and holding this piece of paper. I went into the elevator. I went up backstage at the Hollywood Bowl. My very first concert was for John Mayer and also John Legend. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm freaking out. There's like 25,000 people outside, and the microphone that they do at the Hollywood Bowl, which is this, if you're not familiar, it's like a concert venue
Mhm.
here in Los Angeles, um, is live. So you just click a button and you are the voice of the Hollywood Bowl. So for a few years, I was the first Asian American voice of the Hollywood Bowl at like 19 years old or 18. And from there, it just sort of opened doors. That was my very first professional job. And it turned into an entire career of it. But that's literally how I got it. Some guy had laryngitis, and me just being in the right place at the right time, saying I did theater. So
That's all. So going to the next question. Did you have any challenges getting into the voice acting scene because you were Filipino, whether that's because of your family or peers?
I want to say that there were definitely challenges. I'm not sure if they were like, necessarily more difficult than anybody else's because I was Filipino, but there was definitely that and just with entertainment in general, that kind of pressure to do more than not even more, just to do something different than entertainment from the family. I mean, even like even the years into my career before my both my parents passed. Um, but before they passed, like till the end, they were like, "Oh, what are you going to do with your bio degree?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm an actor now. I'm like 5 years in. Um, it's kind of all in at this point. But so I want to say if there, the challenges were mainly cultural for me.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, there's always, in terms of on camera, there are like additional things, casting is always a thing in terms of your appearance. So it's really hard, especially when I was starting up. Um, there weren't a lot of roles written for someone that looked like me. And even more so for the actors that came before me, you know. Now there's lots more. There's lots more of like Filipino roles been being written, lots of Southeast Asian roles or things that are like more open ethnicity. In terms of voice acting, though, um, that doesn't impact you as much, but it's still there because
Mhm.
people still do want to be authentic with the representation. Um, in Even though it's your voice, even though we don't see people on camera, but uh yeah, so there are challenges, um, both cultural through the family and through just casting and trying to find people that fit like a certain demographic. But it has never been something that has like um given me pause. Like it's never like stopped me really. Um, yeah, I mean, I understand it when people do because it is really disheartening. But at this point, I always tell people like, man, I'm so all into this career. Like, I don't even know what I would do. Like, what else I would do after this if there was an after, or if there's no backup plan. So it's just this.
Both. Family, I am estranged from my parents. For years, it's only been a handful of years that it's happened, and so much love and respect to them. Different world they grew up in, and also it's just difficult because there's a certain time in life where our parents, you see them also just as human beings and they're just as people and they're doing the best that they can also. And the way that they were raised, very traditional um, Filipino parents, art is a luxury and it's not a career path. And so anything that I had ever done artistically was thought of as a hobby, was thought of as a pastime, and is not thought of necessarily as a viable career path to go down, because that's not part of the world that my mom and dad grew up in. Um, and for peers, no one ever looked like me. No one like I didn't fit the mold of what was marketable for television, for print, for radio, for anything. I just never fit that mold. They're looking, and I think I remember stepping out of the Hollywood Bowl after having introduced like Julie Andrews, and was like, the security guard goes, "You, you're that guy?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to, I'm gonna go eat at the artist lounge because I can, and that's who I am." But like that's who I am. Surprise. I'm just gonna be me, and this is what I do. But genuinely, yeah, man. I mean, it's not it's not easy because I guess it'd be one of those things of you don't want to see your kids fail, or you don't want to see a loved one fail. And the arts is a really difficult world to be playing in. But also, I think 15 years ago, the idea of no one looks like me, no one, there aren't very many people who are Filipino and are in the arts. There's not very much representation. I've had a conversation with Jojo about that where I can no longer say that's reality. There are so many people, so many more artists now that we can look at, we can learn from and kind of name that I I would feel disingenuous to be able to say I don't think there are a lot of Filipino artists doing this anymore. Because immediately you can ask Earl and myself and a bunch of our mutual friends who are Filipino American artists, Asian artists in general that are playing in this community, and I feel so much more empowered than I did 15 years ago. And I know that's still a continuous learning process and still continuous growth. But at first, definitely difficult to go down this path for sure.
Awesome, awesome. Um, how has your uh sort of physical and mental health affected your ability to work? And what is your advice to other people, not just voice actors, who are struggling with their mental and physical health involved with their work?
I think that plays in a lot of with especially entertainment. Um, and it's just because it's almost like with entertainment, with being a performer, with being an actor, even being a writer, any of that, you're almost set up to be to fail because the odds are always they're just stacked against you, all the time. And after a while, and it's not easy to persevere through that. Like I know so many people that just say, I can't deal with it. It's too much. And I understand that. That's because it is. Some days you're sitting there like some days it's great. Everybody always talks about there's an ebb and flow to the industry. There's um some days, it's feast or famine. There's like, you some days you're like riding high, you're working all the time, you're doing good work, and other times you don't work for like months. Some people like years at a time. And so mental health definitely plays into that. Being able to stick around in the industry. I would say that what really helped me along was to have a good support system, have friends that are there, on both sides, both in the industry and outside of the industry. People in the industry to commiserate with, and outside of the industry to kind of just to frame everything, to keep you grounded, you know, to give you perspective. Um, and Yeah, I would say that is another thing is to find joy not just in what you do, not just in your career, but to have joy that's outside of your career too. Find a good hobby, um, and particularly in when you're in the entertainment industry, and people say this a lot, is if people aren't hiring you to work, then like create your own work, get out there and keep on acting, even if it's not paid. Um, right, create something that's your own and spend the downtime doing that. I mean, that's easier said than done, but like it's so important. And I think that does resonate outside of the industry, where if, whatever you're doing is not going well. Um, find find joy somewhere else for a little bit, right? In terms of your industry, in terms of your career, and enjoy that for a little bit. Again, easier said than done, but um, that's why we talk about like work-life balance, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Physical and mental health is so vital and important. Burnout is a real thing in this kind of career. You can really you can really burn yourself out from all of the rejection that you can be getting. They're going to get so many more no's than yeses in this career. And I'm sure you've heard that from so many other people.
Yeah.
But your self worth, I mean, this is an entire mental health conversation. Your self-worth isn't defined by someone else's yes. Your self-worth isn't defined by the kind of projects that you're working on in scale, in budget. Your self-worth isn't defined by how many fans you have, um, the numbers, like so much of that can can be what people use to define your self-worth. And if your self-worth is external and going, that's what's going to define me as an artist, man, these no's are going to be crushing because you if you define your own self-worth, no one can take that away from you. But if your self-worth is defined by someone else, that means they hold a lot of power over you. So mental health is really, really important to go do it. And also, you might be going in. I mean, I just did I'm doing a Rockstar video game. They got pushed to next year, but the content of that is adult content that can be really violent, really sexual, and really difficult sometimes emotionally to have to work on. And Rockstar Games, I mean, we all know the kind of content
Yeah.
and type of games that they're doing. The project I was working on, which I'm absolutely excited that's coming out, it's intense. It's intense gameplay with really wild themes. But again, at the end of the day, I get to go to my therapist, talk about it, and kind of decompress. It's really important to be able to do it. Physical health wise of it, I mean, the the vocal cords extremely important, but also it's a full body experience. It's so close to theater that your body really is your instrument as you're doing it. And if you're not taking care of your body as you're doing this thing, you can really. I mean, I was doing an anime, and we were just yelling, just just top of the register, feeling like I'm blowing out my vocal cords. And I had a director that was very kind and going, "Hey, let me check in on you. Are you able to do this? Do we need to put it at the end of the session? Can we do another day of sessions?" Because in my head, I just want to be able to perform. I just want to be able to do. I want to be able to do it correctly and get it right. But there's people that are reminding me, "Hey, you got to check in on yourself and make sure that you have another you have another job, another session to come along. It's really important to do it." Um, and yeah, it's such an important aspect that I don't think I thought about when I was in my 20s at all in any way, shape, or form. I just thought, I can do this all day. I can do it forever. And you're realizing, actually, I can't yell at the top of my lungs for 5 hours straight for a video game right now. Like, we're gonna take that break. We're gonna we're gonna have that tea and sip on that honey with my pinky up and enjoy it. Like, absolutely, we'll get the right take eventually. So.
Moving on.
Yep.
Working on a big project like Arcane as Loris or Jonah and Tomb Raider, do you feel any pressure from the gaming community to get those video game inspired shows and movies on point?
Yeah. I would say there's definitely pressure to bring to come super correct with what I can bring. And I will say though that like the in the moment when I'm sitting there and I'm working, um not the fear of the but the my worry is about doing work in the immediate sense. Like when I'm working, the worry is doing work that I'm comfortable with, that I'm comfortable with putting forward. And honestly, I don't think about like how it's gonna come off until like days before release, and I'm like sitting there like, oh man, I hope people like this. um, so in the moment when I'm working, I don't think about it so much. It's always after when that because once you're everything that you do in the booth is that's a thing you have control over, um so you can change the performance, you can adjust the performance, you can work on the performance with the director, and give suggestions. You can do all that while you're in the booth. Once it's off and shipped and it's ready to print, you don't know like for one, like which take they're gonna pick, which performance they're gonna pick, which how they're gonna edit it. You have no control over that stuff. So that's when I get like, oh man, I hope I gave them. That's when I think, oh, I hope I gave them what they needed to make this product amazing, you know. That's when that becomes a concern. But in the booth, I don't think about it that much. I just think about kicking ass, or
Yeah, of
hopefully kicking
course.
ass, you know.
Of course, of course. And what was the process of working on The Way of the House Husband as a voice acting job compared to a live action project that you've done in the past?
Great. The live action projects. So, from feature films to commercials, television, even shorts and independent films, right? You get a script, you work through that script, you're talking to the director, the producer, you're going through shot lists, you have time to be able to prep for it. You talk about character, you get a little bit of blocking, maybe rehearsal, you get to memorize your lines, right? You have that entire process to go through. And that could be in pre-production if you have the gift of a month, the gift of a week, however long prior to filming. Sometimes you even get a year before a project even gets to be put into fruition, right? So you have prep time to be able to do it. For The Way of a House Husband, I was given a contract. I show up on the day saying I booked this anime with a code name that they give me in the contract. I show up in the booth. They tell me what anime I'm doing. They tell me what character I'm doing, and they show me the animation. And then right then and there is the very first time I'm learning and finding out about any of it. So you're learning on the spot, and that's a big skill. I think cold reads are a big skill where you get to practice that in theater classes, acting classes, workshops. They give you those cold reads. If you're a good cold reader, man, you make your decisions fast. You can learn about beats. You can learn about script analysis very quickly. If you can learn how to do that, then it gives you a real big step up, uh, because you're able to make those decisions on the fly. A lot of improv. I've done improv as well. I know Earl also does improv, and it keeps that skill going. So you're able to make those choices quickly. But that's the difference. When I walk into these animes, sometimes I just find out as I'm walking in the door, and you have like a director or a producer on the side, kind of like doing this, going, "Oh, we got a good one today, and let me tell you about this amazing project." And then you do it, and then here you are. You know, I remember walking in for Neon Genesis, and I just was passing by a bunch of Netflix posters. There was a director, producer. There were two script writers, and Japan was on the phone. I was like, I and I put on my headphones, and I was talking to Carrie, and I was like, "What are we doing? What? This is intense. What's with all the NDAs?" And she goes, "We're doing Neon Genesis. This is the show. Let's go do it now." And that's no prep time whatsoever. You just find out on the spot. And then you trust the process, and then you go do art.
For our last question, because we're running out of time,
For sure.
do you have any advice for any Filipino students who want to pursue voice acting?
I would say if you in if you have any inkling of wanting to do it, just take steps in that direction. Just do it. Because the thing is, especially like the earlier you start, the earlier you're gonna reap benefits from it. So like why not just start now? Just start now. And um and that doesn't the great thing about like I guess this career and specifically when it comes to voice acting is like it'll still be here. Well, gosh, it's hard to say that now because like with everything going on with like AI and all
Oh
this.
yeah, I definitely think about that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's but assuming, you know, the gig is something that is going to exist like into the future, it's like I, like the career will wait for you. You don't have to like jump in full force right at the beginning. You can dip a toe in and you can get your skills ready before you actually go out there and start auditioning, you know? And there's nobody that's putting a rate limiting step on you developing your skills. Nor is there anybody going you have to learn these skills now at a, whatever your pace at a pace is uncomfortable to you. So I would say dip your toes in. If you're not ready to audition, just build the skills. Building the skills isn't as scary. It's a little scary because you got to go to a
Mhm.
class and like be vulnerable and again with in front of people that you might not necessarily know. But um, I feel like that's it's not that big of an investment to make for something that could be um a dream job for you. So if you just do it.
Oh man. Oh, advice for Filipino students that are pursuing voice acting. I think the advice I'd give them is be kind to yourself. Your accomplishments don't define you, and help me. I think that'd be the advice I'd give them. Help me as an artist who's in the world doing it. Help me by inspiring me. Be be an artist that I admire. Be an artist that I want to fan over. Be the artist that when I need to go watch a show and escape into a world that brings me joy, where I need to go cry, where I need to be vulnerable, please create that art for me. Because as the artists who are creating that stuff, sometimes we get to be the ones who are forgotten. Sometimes we're the ones that is a given that, hey, you're already doing it. And sometimes I need the reminder of what does it look like to dream? What does it look like to aspire? And what does it look like to achieve? And the advice I would give them is show me the examples of that because I also want to be inspired and be reminded of what it felt like when I first walked into that room and thought, man, I don't think I can do this. And there was someone there who told me and inspired me to believe that I can. So that's the advice I would give to that artist. Be the artist that you need, um, because I want to be able to see you succeed, and I also want to be able to play with you in the next show that we do. I want to be in another video game. I want to be in another Disney, Amazon, Netflix, Hulu series, and our names are in the credits together. That's what I want. And my advice is make that happen for me, please.
So, is there any last remarks that you want to make? What are you up to lately? Any projects?
Um, none that I know of. Some because sometimes I don't know like what yeah, a lot of things are code named. I'm not sure what they are. Sometimes so uh what do I have out right now? Um I mean Arcane, you know, season 2 came out in November. That's there. Batman Arkham Shadow is out. Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, there's that. Tomb Raider, Legend of Lara Croft on Netflix just came out. If you're into Gundam, I just uh, voiced on a couple of episodes of Gundam G Quux. So there's that. Things are coming out. They're happening. Um, yeah, I'm just trying to parse what I can talk about. Um, Yeah, that's it. And hopefully, it's been a quiet year for everybody, the industry in general right now. So I'm hoping I have more news to share like as this as hopefully we get like more work back in Hollywood. So we'll see what happens and in the voice realm after hopefully the video game strike ends. So
Oh my gosh, anything that I can talk about that isn't under NDA. I mean, oh man, oh my gosh. Well, that's what I'll say. I mean, I have a Rockstar video game that's coming out that I cannot wait to play, that I'm very stoked on. Um, oh my gosh, man. I'm doing Squid Game season 3 comes out, I believe June 26th. Please watch and support. It's been a dream come true to be able to play on that show. Um, oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, those are the ones that are coming up down the pipeline. Please, Squid Game and a Rockstar game. Just a bunch of games for me, bro. Please enjoy.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for doing this interview. I know you probably have a busy schedule.
yeah,
You
dude.
on. It was a delight to
Thanks,
have you
man.
on. Um,
Likewise.
but yeah, I hope you have a nice day.
Yeah, you too, man.
Okay, well, thank you so much. It's been an honor to interview you and Earl.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, I love Earl. Earl, what a beast. He's
Earl
the
is awesome.
beast,
Earl is awesome.
right? My God, the register on that man is subterranean and he's so lovable. He's such a lovable man. Get this in the interview, okay?
Okay.
Earl, Earl, we were doing a Filipino play um, in Highland Park. I remember meeting Earl in rehearsal, looking him in the eyes and just melting because he's so handsome, he's so lovable, and he gives the best hugs. Okay. Outside of being an extremely talented person, Earl gives the best hugs. And that's bar none. I love you, Earl. I love you, bro.
Okay, well, thank you. I hope you have a good night.
Oh man, you
And
too.
and yeah, that's it. Just have a good night.
Heck yes. Thank you, man.